Welcome to the Techpedition Podcast for Saturday, June 2nd. What is wrong with my Apple Watch? 2018. I'm here with my brother Clarence.
It's Apple. That's the first problem. Once you get past that, you know, we can talk, but...
Ouch.
No, man. I'm not an Apple hater.
Feel the burn. Feel the burn. How's it going, man?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. Having a lazy Saturday, which, in my opinion, most Saturdays should probably be. What about you, dude?
Doing pretty good, man. Just been watching my sports. Tiger's within contention. He's about, I think he's in eighth, top for eighth right now. He did pretty good today. Yeah.
What, Tiger still golfs?
Yeah, man. He's actually back and better than ever, man. He's been doing, well, I'm not going to say better than ever, but he's playing really well. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was actually semi-interested in I guess a tournament he had a couple of weeks ago. He was doing pretty darn good, and I don't even really watch golf, but I just happened to catch that one. But he was kicking butt, so I like, go Tiger.
Yeah, he's doing a lot better now.
Any other sports happenings that have been tickling your fancy lately, dude?
Just the finals. The NBA finals are going on, you know, and the infamous J.R. Smith dribble out. Like, I don't. What was he thinking?
Okay. It wasn't that much time on the clock anyway.
It was 3 seconds.
But when he threw the ball to the guy in the corner, I forget who it was only like a second when he actually got to get it out to him.
But LeBron was standing at the top of the key wide open the entire time.
Maybe he wanted the glory for himself. I don't know.
Did you see that video I posted of what he was thinking?
Yeah.
The like Star Wars thing.
Oh, man, I just saw the press. Did you see the press conference?
I saw the one where LeBron got up and walked out because they kept asking him about it.
He's like, how am I supposed to know what they're thinking? Yeah, it was pretty hilarious, though. I love seeing LeBron in a wee bit of turmoil. You know, it makes for good TV.
He just need to come on home, shave his head off. He can be Kimbo Slice. That big old beard.
That dude's a beast, man.
Okay, let's hop into the tech stuff. So, I don't know if you heard this yet, but apparently Microsoft is apparently looking to buy GitHub. You know, if you don't know what GitHub is, it's basically a software platform for developers, and it's valued at about $2 billion. Microsoft's been making this big open source push lately. You know, they ported PowerShell to Mac and they ported it to Linux. Yeah. .NET Core is actually available on Windows. Is available on Macintosh and Linux. Actually, on my MacBook, I actually have PowerShell installed on it, and it works. I mean, you don't have the Windows stuff, obviously, but you know, you can do pretty much anything that you can do on a Windows box. It's actually really, really cool. And it works really well. So.
Yeah. I love the whole .NET Core stuff. Kind of fun seeing them try to port some of their classic .NET stuff over or to their core platform, which can be used on any operating system. But I mean, as for them owning and operating GitHub, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. If you are kind of in the Windows world and have used Team Foundation Server, they've kind of had their own platform where you can go and post code for free, which is just visualstudio.com, which I use for some of my personal repositories. So at first they only had like their TFS platform on visualstudio.com, but like I think maybe 3 or 4 years ago they added Git compatibility as well, so you can put up Git repositories up there as well. So they have a similar product at their Visual Studio website, which anybody can sign up for free. So, I mean, it's not like they haven't been doing this before, but I do see the contention and maybe even angst of people knowing that Microsoft might own the code. So I don't know.
Yeah. So like, I'm not going to speak for all software developers, but I know at my job, there's kind of the people who like the amount of love for GitHub is like inversely proportional to the amount of love for Microsoft.
Yeah.
So it's like the people that really love GitHub mostly hate Windows. So just that in and of itself, I feel like you were saying, will cause a lot of angst, and there's just a lot of Windows haters.
True.
So like and me personally, I don't hate Windows. I just hate Windows 10. I'm really frustrated with it. So, but I don't know.
10 is fine.
It's actually a really smart move. Yeah, I'm podcasting on Windows 10 right now. It's just really, really frustrating sometimes. Love-hate relationship, but I guess that's been my experience with Windows my entire life. So,
I mean, sure, because I was just telling you a second ago, now everybody gets updated unless you specifically say you do not want it, and still you are going to get updated eventually. And I just had the case where I was looking for one particular item, which has been the same since Windows 8, and they moved it for I don't know what reason, but it took me a minute to find. Had to Google where they actually changed the setting. So, yeah.
Creators update Infinity War?
Yeah. So I can see why people would be mad about it, but, you have to update stuff, I guess.
Yeah, I don't want to spend too much time beating Microsoft up. But, yeah, I think this is smart for them. I fear the backlash.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. So a second ago, we were talking about your Apple Watch. And as you may know, next week we have the up and coming Worldwide Developer Conference 2018. Is there any? Go ahead.
One more thing. One more thing. I just want to say that.
Yeah. So, is there anything in particular you're looking for in this, developers conference?
This is where they normally announce. Do they announce the iPhones and stuff I think this is when they normally announce them, isn't it?
It just depends on what sometimes they announce hardware here and sometimes they don't. It just kind of depends on what their development cycle is for this year. I don't suspect they'll be announcing any hardware, any Mac. They may announce some MacBooks, but any other of the iOS devices, I don't think it'll be any announcements here.
Yeah, I'm interested if they do talk about MacBooks. There's been some issues with the keyboard, so I'm interested to see if they're going to talk about that. And the only other MacBook thing that I'm kind of interested in is I'm just wondering if they're going to double down on this, only having USB-C ports on their laptops, because on my MacBook, it's right here. Only kind of cable on it. Let me see. You have this has five ports on it, right? So look, we have you probably can't see, but there's two USB-Cs there, which are what do they call it? Lightning. It's a different technology, use the same port, and there's a headphone jack, and then on the other side, two more USB-Cs. So it's like I'm curious to see if they're going to double down on that. They probably will. There was a really, really big backlash. So if they're going to refresh the laptops, I'm just curious to see if they actually see where they stand on that. And there's one more thing that kind of annoyed me that I didn't even know about. So this laptop costs $3,000, right? It's $2,700. Okay. So you pick how much RAM you want. You pick what hard drive you want when you order it. And you can't change it. It's soldered onto the motherboard. So that is horrible. I did not know that, but yeah that's horrible. It's terrible.
But by the same token, if you're going to make these devices smaller, more compact, that's really the only option you have. Now, for us, people who've, been around computers longer and know about the ability to update RAM and things like that, to have that just totally removed from something as expensive as that product, it can be a bit frustrating. I agree with that.
Yeah, it's just, but I mean, again, it's Apple, so I'm not really that shocked. I was just like, wow, really?
Yeah, it's pretty much like how all their products are now. So. So I think other stuff to expect at WWDC this year is, I think didn't they just update iOS?
Yeah, they did. Well, yeah, they updated it. No, it's been a while.
It's been a while.
I think it's been about a year. They released the big not MacBook, the big iPad update, which made the iPad closer to like a PC, or not a PC, a computer or a laptop, whatever you want to call it. And I'm interested to see what they're going to do with iOS 12, because I don't know. I'm not even going to say that. I was going to say it's pretty perfect. Like that, I don't really think there's as much that they can add to it to make it more. But they'll always think of something, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, so I mean, hopefully we'll get a lot more bells and whistles in iOS, and that's kind of the only real thing I'm expecting from WWDC. You know, it seems like I'm less interested in these events than in times past, because I remember like being really into them, wanting to, you know, take my lunch break and pull up my laptop and watch it. I remember times when, like we'd go to conference room and watch it at work, but it's like yeah, it's like now.
Even Steve Jobs, man.
Yeah, I mean, like even the same thing with like the Microsoft build. I used to do kind of the same thing, at least for the keynote. I used to just sit down and watch it, you know, during the day at work. But now it's like the improvements that can be done are so minute in a lot of ways. It's just like doesn't really have the same appeal. And like you said, Steve Jobs. So
yeah, it was just. I mean, back in the day, how long has it been? It's been like 10 years now, hasn't it? Or maybe not 10, maybe like 5.
But it's like since what, iPhone?
Since Jobs stopped doing press conferences.
Yeah.
And it's like those were like, I don't care if you hated Mac, if you couldn't stand Apple. They were just like, I want to say they were kind of like cultural events, but now I don't even really care about watching the Apple keynotes anymore because it's Tim Cook's boring. Like,
good old Tim Cook
doesn't have that mojo, man.
Yeah.
So are we moving on?
Yeah, I'll take a story. So, Engadget reports that California will allow autonomous cars to pick up passengers.
Oh, God.
So this is not a big thing because Milwaukee, I think, was running a pilot program where there was a actual, you know, a person behind the wheel, but they were picking up passengers as well. So it was like, you know, ride sharing service, but it was somebody behind the wheel. What's different and kind of significant about this is that they're going to allow it without a safety driver. So no safety driver, a car picks you up with no one in it. Now, the thing here is these cars are going to be remotely monitored. So I don't know if that's better or worse than somebody actually sitting behind the wheel, but they're going to be remotely monitored and a car will just pick you up with nobody in it. Now, I think this is to a very small area, but yeah, just the idea that they're doing that so soon is rather shocking in my opinion.
I'm kind of even scared to state the obvious on this because last time we did that, like somebody died a week later. But
and that was Arizona. I'm sorry, I said what I said.
So much can go wrong with this. Yeah. But I guess the good thing is, like last week, some Uber driver in Vegas, she picked some people up, and one of the guys in the back seat pulled a gun on her and pistol whipped the guy riding in the passenger seat, and stole her car, and they ended up catching them in Arizona. So I guess they don't have to worry about. They won't have to worry about that part of it anymore.
Wait. A passenger did that to an Uber driver?
Yeah. So this lady picked up some people, and it was a carpooling one. So you had like different people, like different sets of people riding in the same vehicle, rideshare. And so like the people that were in the back, they pulled a gun up on the lady and like stole her car.
Why would you?
Yeah. And
like, not only do you have to be tracked to get in the car is tracked picking you up. So what idiot would try to steal an Uber? But I mean, I guess piggybacking off that news and not to get too far off the subject, because I know you had a comment, but Uber just released a panic button for passengers. And I think, I think they're doing the same thing for drivers, fairly soon here. But yeah, it's just like, I'm shocked that, you know, I know we started talking about autonomous driving first, but I'm shocked that Uber has taken off because I think we're probably the most non-trustworthy people, Americans. And the fact that we would just jump in with some random person, not a licensed taxi driver, some random person who installed Uber on their phone and started driving. I don't know. It's
the only thing that, like, other than that, which is a big one, the only other thing that bothers me about this is that all the people who have been pretty much like making Uber what it is, the drivers who get screwed as it is, in like a couple years, they won't have jobs.
Yeah.
But, you know, like they're,
yeah.
we all knew this was coming, though. I mean, it's not a huge shock, but it still just kind of sucks that the people whose back they rode to this level of notoriety or whatever you want to call it, profitability, they're all going to be on the street in soon. So that really sucks.
Well, as if normal taxi yellow cab drivers were not worried already, you know. When Uber and Lyft first started popping up, they were really not happy. And even governments and cities, I think you had the whole token thing in New York to be a taxi cab driver. Like, drivers were not happy. And the fact that it moved to people, it actually created jobs. But once it moves beyond that, I also think of things like, and we talked about it before, but freight haulers, diesel drivers and things like that.
Yep.
It has the potential to take a lot of jobs.
Yeah. And I mean, I feel bad for those cab drivers, but I do not feel bad for the cab companies, because most of them, instead of like when this started happening, instead of them trying to like, how can we one up Uber? How can we do something better? They just try to litigate Uber away. And I mean, I know in a lot of cities now, like you can't even go pick somebody, like you can't get an Uber from the airport because of like laws they passed. So, they just it's kind of like what happened with the music industry in the early aughts. It was like, we could either like adapt to this or just try to stop it. And you can't stop it. It's coming.
Oh yeah. Let's see here. What's next on the agenda, sir?
I'll take one. Wow, this is the only other thing I added. I thought I added more on this. So, I added two. So we'll talk, since we're talking about cars, I'll go ahead and do this one. Apparently Jeep is launching a subscription service in 2019.
What? What?
So just follow me here. So, apparently, what is it? Porsche and I didn't even know this until I read the article, but apparently Porsche and Volvo, they have subscription models where with Porsche, it's called a Porsche Passport, and it's like $2,000 a month. But you have unrestricted mileage, frequent vehicle changes, and on-demand access to up to 22 different Porsche models. And this is insurance included. You pay your monthly fee and you drive. And you don't have to worry about tax, title, whatever, all that other crap. You don't have to worry about that, which it sounds kind of cool when you think about it, I don't
want to drive my green Porsche today. I want to drive a red one. Let's go to the dealership.
This Porsche doesn't match my Argyles. Let's go back to the dealer.
My God.
But,
really?
like, if you really think about it, though, like, just follow me for a second. So what they're trying to do is what the phone companies did with cell phones, because cell phones are a huge purchase, and, people are more likely to buy a phone if they don't have to come up with $5,000 or $8,000 or $1,000 at one time, and there's kind of a value add because of the insurance and all the other stuff that's included. If you do like to change vehicles frequently, this is actually a really, really cool thing. So you're not just stuck with one vehicle for 5-6 years or however long your car lease is or purchase.
And you said Jeep is doing this, but you said...
Okay, yeah. So Volvo and Porsche are doing it right now. With a Volvo, it's like $600 a month, and you can pick one of their SUVs. I think it's called like an XC40 or something. Mm-hmm. But with Jeep, they didn't really come out with a price, but it's going to be a similar thing. And I imagine since it's Jeep and the cars aren't as expensive as Porsches and Volvos, I'm imagining it's going to be pretty affordable. So it could be a game changer,
Yeah, my whole thing is like, how much is that price as opposed to what you'd be paying for a normal monthly lease or note? You know what I'm saying? So how big a difference is the pricing on that? If it's minimal to none, and you're going to be like leasing anyway, why not just get the switcheroo package or whatever they call it?
Yeah,
I think it'd be pretty cool.
I think a lot of people. For a lot of people that are kind of savvy, like this makes a lot of sense, because some people think of cars as an investment, but investment is generally something that appreciates in value, whereas a car depreciates. It's not an investment; it's an expense. So,
Indeed.
like, if you think about it like that, and like you said, you're leasing all the time, or you want to change vehicles every year, even if you're paying the same thing, you have the flexibility to swap vehicles more often. And I think that's going to appeal to a lot of people. And one reason Jeep is doing it is because they're not exactly a household name. Like, everybody knows Jeep, but you don't, you see the Wranglers every here and there, but Jeep's just not a hugely popular car brand. So, I mean, if they come in at like a decent price for this, they could probably significantly increase their install base. So I think that's what they're going for here. But I didn't even know that was a thing, car subscription. So yeah.
I think Jeep too has kind of been notoriously like a nickel and dime type car, is what I've heard. And
yeah.
Less so on the Cherokees and more so on the actual Jeep. I don't know what the Jeep proper is called. But, I've heard people use the acronym, just empty every pocket for a Jeep because they can, if you want this, you want a top, you want it could be a very expensive endeavor from what I've heard. So yeah, sounds cool.
Yeah. And just to give you some more details on this is like all insurance costs, vehicle service, roadside assistance, 24/7 customer care, and any replacements needed for wear and tear items like brake pads, windshield wiper blades. And we're talking like a 24-month period. So that's, flexibility.
That works.
So, yeah.
That works. So, man, a bit of sad news for people who love the traditional film cameras. Canon ends camera sales for good. Film camera sales for good. Now, actually, they did this a few years back. They actually announced this 8 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they announced this 8 years ago, but it's just up until now to where they've run out of stock. So they're saying like they officially are going to end sales, period. So if you are wanting a Canon film camera, you better search eBay or something because you're probably not going to find one from the Canon sites and distributors because they're ending it, which, man, it's just so funny because I know I grew up firmly in the film camera era, but
Polaroid.
Yeah, Polaroid. But it's like digital is so pervasive now. And it's like, I kind of miss that, prosumer level of film cameras. I never just really didn't do that. So when I started getting into the prosumer market, I was on the digital side. So I guess it's kind of sad, but by the same token, we march forward, I guess.
And it's funny, like I think we're almost getting to the point that even digital cameras are probably kind of obsolete. So
it's getting there.
It's just really interesting that which I don't imagine they're selling many of these. So it makes sense, I guess. So.
Are you saying that from the point of view that the phone is kind of taking that space?
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. I know the purists are about ready to like tar and feather me, but like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that a Canon X50, X60, whatever. Like, I'm not saying that an iPhone or a Google Pixel camera is as good as that. It's not. But for the average person,
it's good enough.
It's good enough. They don't need to buy an expensive camera. And, like you said, prosumer, for professionals and, for people, prosumers, then, they'll still get the digital DSLRs and stuff. But for the average person, like, there's no reason to own a digital camera if you have a fairly recent cell phone, No,
man, I totally agree, man. It's just the quality is just getting so good and only getting better. So it's definitely a game that's for professionals and the normal person. Just, it's, oh man, it's like doesn't even matter for most people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This is true. Okay. This is my last story. So you all know Bungie, right? The creators of Halo, the developers of Destiny, which is kind of tanking right now. But apparently NetEase, which is a massive Chinese online gaming company, they just made a small investment in Bungie to the tune of $100 million. So it looks like Bungie is trying to become a publisher. Its own publisher, so they don't have to rely on Activision or Microsoft or whoever to publish their games.
I would love that. I would freaking love that.
Me too. And it's like that, I guess they're partnering with NetEase, who has purchased a stake in the company, and they're gonna, I guess, use this capital to develop new IP and self-publish it.
Now, how now there. Well, let me say, how much of Activision is owned by Bungie, or how much?
How much of Bungie is owned by Zero.
Thank you for fixing that word.
They're only in a publishing agreement with Activision. Okay. Activision has no stake in Bungie whatsoever. So,
which is funny because I initially thought, they are getting away from Microsoft and the Microsoft Xbox overlords, and they immediately jump in bed with Activision, which
out of the frying pan and into the fire.
Yeah, so I like the fact that you said they don't have really any true affiliation other than licensing deals, and I will be glad to see them go out and do their own thing. Now, $100 million doesn't sound much, depending because what Fortnite, that's their purse for one of their prize for next year, or is it this year? So that doesn't sound like
the prize. What?
I think that's like their purse for like the Fortnite tournament. Let me see.
$100 million? I
hope I'm not lying. I think I'm right.
Man, I need to get on. I need to start playing $100 million.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to turn this podcast off right now and practice Fortnite. That is a lot of money. Wow.
Here we go. Epic Games will provide $100 million in prize money for Fortnite esports in 2018-2019.
My gosh. That is ridiculous.
That's why that number does not look that big to me as far as investment. But, this Fortnite is off the rails, man. It's off the rails.
I just don't see, I don't know, even with Fortnite, it's like,
dude, they're making like 3 or 4 million on cosmetic stuff a day. I think more than that. It's something ridiculous.
Oh, wow. Yeah, people love to purchase their skirts and hats and junk. So, I don't know. I just hope that, I hope this means that they can do some other stuff, because, I mean, I don't know if Destiny's working for them the way they would like it to. So I don't know. Back in the day, Bungie made RTS games. They did other stuff besides shooters. Halo was actually their first shooter, and then they just became the shooter company. So
struggle.
We'll see what I'm hoping they get over. I'd even like to see another marathon game. Yeah. Which is kind of the precursor to Halo, and it's a shooter, but or another Myth game. You remember Myth back in the day?
Yeah.
There's so many other things they can do besides Halo, but we'll see what they do.
Yeah, well, I mean, Destiny is on such an epic, supposedly such an epic scale. It's just kind of funny to see how games are I mean, you just mentioned Fortnite, but to see how it's kind of shifted from that epic online model and kind of shifted over to something like a little bit different with arena-based shooters. Just weird.
It's like things have gone full circle, if you think about it, because I know when we first started playing PC games and shooters in general, it was Quake.
Yeah.
Which is just the online shooter, there's not really a story. You just jump in and kill each other. And then we went from there to the Call of Duties and these character driven, if you want to call them that.
We mined every war possible.
We went through all the wars, and now we're back to just killing each other for no reason again.
Full circle. All right, let's see what else I had here. I think the only other story I had was if you use Plex. Plex has added podcast to their apps. So, updates coming for iOS and Android was back on the 30th. So a few days back, they released the ability to listen to podcasts through your Plex player, which I don't know. I'm kind of torn on the whole Plex thing. I love having my own media with my server with my stuff on it, personalized for me. But what I don't like is you have to pay $130 every year or somewhere?
Plex Pass.
Yeah, the Plex Pass.
To have access to it everywhere, yeah.
Yeah, I paid for that for a couple of years, then I just stopped doing it. But yeah, I mean, it's cool. I think the more places podcasts are, it helps people like us. So, I'm kind of glad it's in there, but I don't think that many people.
Sorry.
No, you're quite all right,
I was going to do this, but it didn't work.
Yeah, I don't know if that many people actually use the Plex application.
Yeah. The only time I ever really use it is if I'm going away on a business trip or something. I'll queue or store, or what do they call it? like I guess just download a couple of my movies to my phone or my tablet so I can watch them on a plane. But other than that, I don't really need the pass because you don't need the pass for your home. So
yeah, true. That's true. It's more the sharing thing, which, you know. Hey.
Yeah.
And then like it's to the point where like owning digital media is not as pervasive as it used to be.
Yeah.
Everything is you can just go sign up for a streaming service and get it for a fairly reasonable price. So, I mean, the hoarding aspect of it is not as prevalent. So, I mean, is Plex even needed as much these days? Maybe not.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Cool. And, guys, I think we are at the end of our list for today. Any other thing you want to talk about, man? That's not really podcast related, or I mean tech related. Any other?
I don't really have much. You know, I'll let you plug the cast that we are also a part of. But yeah, just looking forward to maybe doing some more video based stuff, maybe some streaming. You know, and hopefully you'll see more of us soon.
Yeah. So I just ordered the Xeon Smooth 3-axis smartphone stabilizer.
What?
Yeah, I mean it's like $100. It's pretty cheap.
What is that? Is it like a gimbal?
It's a gimbal. It's a smartphone gimbal. So I ordered that. So maybe that's what I'll try to review for the upcoming tech show. But yeah, I want to try that out and see if it's all as cracked up to be, because people really hype these things on YouTube. So yeah, I'm gonna check that out. And just check out the Discussing Trek, which can be found at discussingtrek.com for all of our Star Trek related news and whatnot. Yeah.
Indeed. And yeah. Catch us on Overwatch, or I play a lot of PUBG. My screen name on Steam is 10KENKEN4, the number 4 life. So you want to play some PUBG, hit me up. Mostly play that, Rocket League, and we've been playing some Overwatch, or we've been trying to play some Overwatch, but it's fun. So yeah.
Yeah, it's funny how much that game just totally copies Team Fortress.
It is Team so Fortress. Yeah, it's Team Fortress 3. It is. I like anybody who wants to argue to me that that's not Team Fortress. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah,
except it has better characters.
Yeah, maybe a little more polished, in my opinion.
And the supers,
but one is much older. One is much older. Yeah, but the characters definitely are a thing among themselves, because you know you can spend all day like just going through the characters and checking them out. So yeah, we played a few days ago and had a lot of fun with that. So we might jump back on some more of that. Might be cool.
Oh yeah. Also, the Crew 2. Me and my brother and one of my nephews, like we pretty much played through that entire game together in co-op. And like I'm in Kansas, my brother's in Mississippi, my nephew's in Mississippi, and we all got on. We played through the entire game. So we're kind of excited about it. It wasn't the greatest thing ever, but it was a lot of fun as a multiplayer co-op type deal. So yeah, we're looking forward to the Crew 2. We've had some technical difficulties with the beta, but hopefully we can give you some impressions on it soon.
Oh man, fix your net code. If their net code is good, I'm all in, because we had the most issues of trying to just connect. But once we got connected, it was fun. So I don't know.
It's really, really fun. So check it out.
Very, very quick. Techpedition. Very, very quick. Techpedition. Very, very quick. Techpedition. Very, very quick. Techpedition.
I can't beat that. I just smells burnt and dusty.
Hey guys, don't miss an episode of the Techpedition Podcast. For more information, go to techpedition.com/subscribe. TECHPEDITION.com.